At theraces.com, Cheltenham Preview, sponsored by Ladbrokes.com.
Now, you've done the right thing logging on, because we're going to be looking forward to the Ryanair Chase. Always a fantastic race. Taranis, of course, won the race last year. My guest, Andrew Thornton, will be telling us all about the Listener. But let's first get the details with Matt Chapman.
Thanks very much, Lou. Let's start off with some statistics for the Ryanair Chase. Obviously a race that hasn't been around for that long. All three Ryanair winners to date ran in the Paddy Power Gold Cup and the Boyle Sports Gold Cup earlier in the season. So key stat that. Last two winners were French bred. If you like a bit of French, then you might find the Ryanair winner, including, of course, a 1-2-3-4 in 2006. Paul Nicholls has won 2 of the 3 runnings. Taranis, of course, was his victor 12 months ago. Now, here are some leading contenders. Don't Push It, John Joe O'Neill for JP McManus. Watch the market with that one. Possibly Lantartique. Well, if you fancy Denman for the Gold Cup, you'd hope for a big run from Mossbank in the Ryanair. Arvik's been here and nearly got the T-shirt in this race. Quirky but talented, which Arvik will turn up on the day. Tamarin Blur, well, if he doesn't go for the Champion Chase, he could be here. The Listener, well, he'd want really testing ground probably to be able to win this. It's a real speed test for me. I'm not sure he's fast enough. He's too slow, or he doesn't stay the Gold Cup trip, and he's not going to be fast enough for this. And Turco in there for the trainer who, of course, has had a great record in the race, Paul Nicholls. So, on paper, those look to be the leading contenders. Remember, if you go to all the W's at theraces.com, you can watch any of these races back at any time during the year. But just to save you a little bit of the bother for this one, here's a form guide.
Coming down now to the final fence, and it is Mossbank who is the leader, followed by Night Legend and Light on the Broom as they come towards the last, and Mossbank pings the final fence. Night Legend a mistake, and Mossbank is now well clear, running up to the finish. Mossbank driven out by Davy Russell, is going to win it by 8 lengths. But as they come to the final fence, it's the Listener who's over in front, being followed now by Snowy Morning, Turco and Mr. Topnotch. They're all trying to close, but they've got work to do to catch the Listener, who's made every inch of the running, is going to go one better. This time last year, Beef or Salmon was wearing down on him, but not so today. The Listener wins for Robert Olner. And it's Denman over in front of Mossbank. Then comes the Listener, and on the run up towards the finish, it's Denman and Ruby Walsh. From Mossbank, the Listener and Beef or Salmon staying on again as they race up towards the finish. It's going to be another big one for Ruby Walsh and Paul Nicholls. What a hand he's got in the Gold Cup. Ruby and Denman win the Lexus, and it's going to be a photograph for second.
In the Victor Chandler, Tamarin Blur is over. Clear, he ran the finish and the stamina out of Twist Magic, who's being closed on by Mansoni for second. But Tamarin Blur, under an aggressive ride, a red letter day for the Tom Scudamore-David Pike combination, who farmed the big races at Ascot this season. They win the Victor Chandler.
And Don't Push It is coming there with a challenge as well. The white cap over the last. Lead On in the centre was just the leader to Cream Cracker, but the far side, Don't Push It, is beginning to eat into the lead of Lead On. They come towards the line. Don't Push It led on the post to win.
Was that clear things up for you? Having a look at those horses in action? I'm not so sure, but let's have a word with Andrew Thornton. No one knows the Listener better than you. Matt saying he can't win. Do you agree?
He could win if there was plenty of cut in the ground.
There won't be though, will there?
That's the big worry. He will go a good gallop, which is what he wants. I'm sure he'll be bounced out in front, try and make the most of his jumping. But the undulations of Cheltenham definitely don't suit him like Leopardstown in that respect. Flat track. He does have a tendency to jump right-handed, which won't help around Cheltenham. Always been a turning track. And
is this his trip, Andrew? I mean, we're saying perhaps he doesn't stay 3 1/4. He's not quite quick enough for 2. Is this ideal for him then, in that sense?
I would say round Cheltenham, it is a speed. It's a very quick 2 mile 5 round here. If so, I've answered the question. Probably no.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see his jumping. Obviously, over 3 miles against 3 milers, his jumping, he gains half a length.
Yeah.
You probably won't see it in this race.
Horse,
but like I say, the slight worry for me is the jumping right-handed, and especially going down the hills. He's not a fan of definitely going down the undulations.
Okay, well, there's a couple of possibilities here. Tamarin Blur, obviously he's got an entry in the Queen Mother Champion Chase, but this, a distinct possibility for him. He stays the trip, we know that. We know he acts at Cheltenham. Which race would you go for?
I think they'll end up going for the 2 miler. I don't think this race looks any easier than the Champion Chase, and the Champion Chase has more kudos to it.
Yeah, okay. Right, what about Arvik then? We saw him last year. He's a horse that's always question marks. You know, he doesn't finish his races. He's got temperament issues, but he ran a blinder last year.
Ran a blinder last year, ran a cracking race last time out to Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Blatantly didn't get 3 mile 1.5. This is his ideal trip. I think last year's run was a fantastic performance behind Taranis, staying on at the finish, which you can see. He doesn't get 3 miles. Or 3 miles plus. Gets an easy 3, but not 3 miles plus. I think he's got an outstanding chance. His run last year, to me, is good enough to win this.
Do you? You sound very positive about him, because he's always a horse that's had so many question marks. But anyway, you like him. What about the chances? It all ties in with the Listener. What about the chance of Mossbank? Michael Hurrigan's horse comes over here, of course, ran that great race behind Denman.
Great race behind Denman, but also the Listener was a short head back in third.
Yeah.
That form ties in very, very well. I think that the track won't bother him. The trip is ideal for him. I'm sure he's going to run a big race. He's obviously in good form. Ground won't be too much of a bother to him. He likes a bit of decent ground. I think that he gets bogged down a little bit in Ireland in the real soft conditions. So
he's got a bit of toe, hasn't he?
He's got a bit of toe. He won't be without a chance in this. I think it's an open contest and very, very competitive.
What about the chance of Lantartique then? As we know, winner of the Juice and Ferdy Murphy's horse has had an interrupted campaign. We know that, but on the other side of the coin comes here a fresh horse.
Comes here a fresh horse. Tried him over various trips this year. Tried him over obviously 3 miles in Ireland. Didn't suit him. He loves Cheltenham. Again, horses for courses. Ferdy has proved in the past a great man for getting horses to Cheltenham in peak condition, and you know, you always respect Ferdy at the Cheltenham Festival.
Not one to totally rule out then?
Absolutely not.
OK, we're just looking down some of these others. Obviously, they've all got options. Don't Push It, John Joe Neal's horse. Again, question marks about the Yarval. I'll tell you, what about Turco, Paul Nicholls' horse?
Turco is a 2.5 mile specialist. He ran a very good race last time. He's in good form, and like you say, Paul Nicholls has got great credentials in this race. Turco's the one he's chosen to take this route. Each way possibilities, whether he's quite good enough to win it, wait and see. OK, well, I definitely like Mossbank, but I'm not the expert. You're the expert. What's going to win? Well, I think Arvik and Lantartique are the two that stand out. You know that Lantartique loves the course at Cheltenham. Yeah. I just feel Arvik... I just felt that his run last time was a cracking run at Cheltenham. He didn't get the 3 mile one. If he runs as well as he did last year, he'll win. OK, Andrew Thornton then giving another chance to Arvik.
At theraces.com, Cheltenham Preview, sponsored by Ladbrokes.com.